Well, the family of a Southern California Navy corpsman says they've been trying to get answers for weeks after he suddenly died, but they say the military has stonewalled them.
Tonight, though, our 10 News has learned that he may have been killed by someone else. Our Team 10 investigative reporter Jennifer Kastner has discovered that this is now being investigated as a homicide, according to our source.
Steve, that's exactly correct. We started looking into this last week after the corpsman's father contacted us for help. A corpsman is a type of medic. That father says the military dropped the ball when he needed answers. For 2 months, he's been trying to do his own investigation into the death of his 30-year-old son.
She was just like, what's going on? What?
One of the hardest moments of Jose De Leon's life was talking to his wife after being notified this August that their son was suddenly dead.
I just kind of looked at her. And she started breaking down right there because she knew.
We spoke over Skype because the couple lives in Texas. They say HM3 Michael Vincent De Leon was a Navy corpsman stationed at 29 Palms, a Marine base in San Bernardino County. They've now buried him after learning almost 2 months ago from military officers that Michael had died and there was an investigation.
I gathered my emotions and I asked them why or what happened, and they couldn't give me anything.
Since then, the family says they've largely been kept in the dark. But this week, Team 10 learned from a source with close military ties that NCIS, the Naval Criminal Investigative Service, has confirmed that Michael's death is now being investigated as a homicide. It's a very different story than what Jose was led to believe in the hours just after the death, when he says the word suicide came up from service members on base. Jose didn't buy it, claiming there was no history of depression. Michael was happy.
He was an extrovert. Yeah, he could walk into a room and make friends.
This father, a former news photojournalist, started his own investigation. And what he says he learned just 48 hours later from a service member close to the case was this.
I begged him. Just tell me, did Michael pull the trigger or did someone else? There was a long pause. And he goes, Mr. De Leon, someone else pulled the trigger.
He says other service members who knew Michael said he was shot on base at a corpsman's going away party in the military housing area. A full week passed, but he says there was still no word from the base.
It's a bunch of bureaucrats that they're not vested at all in the family.
He says after formally complaining, he finally got a call from an agent with NCIS, which is handling the investigation. He says the agent would only confirm that there was a shooting on base at a housing unit with corpsmen present, and a firearm was produced. Now, 7 weeks later, 10 News has verified with our source that agents are officially treating this not as a suicide, but as a homicide. Intentional or accidental is still unknown. 10 News directly asked NCIS and the base for confirmation. This afternoon, the base reported it's unable to answer our questions because the incident is still under investigation. Meanwhile, this grieving father continues searching for the truth.
I don't know, did the 30 years of broadcasting prepare me for this assignment that I did not want, but was thrown into to investigate my son?
We're still waiting for a response from NCIS, but De Leon believes its agents will figure out how his son died. Although the base couldn't give us any details about the death, a spokesperson told us that all firearms in the military housing on base must be in a secured location in the home. Jennifer Kastner, 10 News.
Jen, thank you. Team 10 began investigating this story after the family reached out to us for some help. So if there's something you want Team 10 to look into, send us an email. Send it to team10@10news.com.